Oh, my word. We are live again right here on a Thursday afternoon with another fantastic subject. This one's going to be fun. I think people will get some laughs out of this one. What do you think, Carter?
Yeah, it's chock full.
Chock full. But we're going to let you guys get on. And we always playing this. I love giving Jonathan Sanders a little credit as he has done a great job on these things. So we'll see you in just a minute. All right, all right. Here we go. So, what are we talking about today? So, a few weeks back, it's actually been about a month, we went over some of the customer service facts that were really that these are those were the facts that kind of everybody kind of knew where they were, below the service that you read about and you hear about and those kind of things. But today we're going to get into some customer service facts that really might surprise some people. I mean that's one of the things that I love is when you get into things that people go, oh, I never knew that.
Well,
You
your
know,
timing is good because it
yeah,
is customer service week.
it is. That was the next thing. So, when did Customer Service Week first come out? You know?
Uh, Let me think. I knew this before I got on. Try not to look at my notes here. Was it back in the
I believe it was in the early '90s.
1890s or 1990s?
No, 1990s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Because yeah, I guess back then it wasn't customer service; it was just service.
yeah, yeah. I mean the whole thing is customer service is kind of a new thing. I mean, people don't realize this. But customer service is one of those, just kind of things that are kind of a modern. We think of it as a modern technology. That it's in this modern world where we have everything needs to be fast, fast food, fast service, fast shipping, fast, 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 fast. Where you can pick up the phone and get in touch with somebody and get that complaint done or not get it done, but complain and review and this whole 9 yards. So here's another fact that'll blow you away. This is one of the funniest things. We're going to spend some time talking about this. Do you know that the very first customer service complaint is inscribed on a clay tablet?
That's a trip.
Yeah.
So,
And guess when?
well, if it's on a clay tablet, then I'm gonna take a guess that it's gonna be sometime like BC.
1750 BC.
Wow.
That is the first known customer complaint. And here's what it was. They delivered the wrong type of copper.
No
That's
way.
that. Yeah. So just picture this, right? You get copper delivered. So I mean, didn't come by plane, come
No,
by truck.
right. It's gonna be a team
So
of oxen.
uh, right, team of oxen on in a cart. So you get this delivery. You're not talking about an easy exchange either.
So it's the wrong grade of copper, and so okay. First of all, a couple of things to note. First of all, the first known customer service complaint was inscribed on a clay tablet, and it was about a tradesman.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it was
Yeah,
about a trade, a
yeah.
business trade.
I thought that was just incredible. So here's Jerry's comment here that customer service, great customer service builds enthusiast customer. So can you imagine in the 1750s to know that, oh my gosh, we do not have an enthused customer? I just thought that was brilliant because we always think of customer service as such a modern day phenomena that we have to just serve these people and they're just unreasonable and blah blah blah. But the honest truth is customer service has been
Well,
forever.
it's been around as long as commerce has been around, right?
Yeah,
And the form of trade for goods and services. So, um, but yeah, just to your point, back in the mid 20th century, schools of business thought rose up because of computing and automation and larger corporations that could have multidisciplinary roles and departments. And so it was easier then, more easy than it had ever been, to compartmentalize customer service as an end result. Like, this is what we produce as happy customers. Whereas before, the thinking was always, we produce this good or this service or these things for people. And customer service was just simply giving people what they were asking for. But you know, as a discipline and as a department, it really became a study, an area of study. And as a result, now it's there's a lot of science that goes into it, and a lot of good thinking that goes into, like, how to create the enthused customer that Jerry talked about, the happy, satisfied customer who at the end is ready to tell other people, whether it's online or on clay tablets,
Yeah.
what their experience was.
So Jerry's also saying enthused customers tell others how great you are, or non-enthused customers tell others how they won't use you again. So there's a flip side to that. So Jerry, I think you and I might have been there during that first clay tablet transition. I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel like I might have been there. Man, and hey, Renee, thank you for being here. Mitchell Renee gave us a thumbs up. If you guys are so inclined, we'd love for you to give us a like or a heart. That would be great. And here's another thing. This kind of blew me away in a way. And then when I stopped and thought about it, I thought, it's interesting. But an estimated $41 billion is lost by U.S. companies alone each year just due to one thing: poor customer service.
And this is why the discipline of studying customer service, of looking at your systems to see if the outcome of all of your business enterprise is happy customers. It's because we've been able to put this fine a point on it to realize the loss of revenue that's happened. And if you can improve, right? It's the old adage, you cannot improve what you do not measure, or cannot measure.
Yeah.
So when you're able to measure something like this, when you realize that your company is part of a $41 billion problem, and your company has some percentage or some share of that lost revenue, you can start to look at your business more critically and find out, where is the leak happening? Where is the customer service gaps that are causing people to have the bad experience?
Well, and this is one of the things that, and I've talked about this before, that people call me and tell me, hey, I'm at the top of the map search, I'm at the top of organic search, but our phones aren't ringing, and everybody else in my neighborhood tells me that they're really, really busy, and we're just sitting here sucking wind. What is going on? And I can almost tell you immediately what the problem is. It's reviews, 100%. And so when you realize that you don't, that's the very first thing I would tell you. If you think you have a customer service problem or not, the very first thing you need to do is look at your reviews. Just look at your reviews. That should tell you right off the bat whether you have a customer service issue or not. If you're number one on Maps and you're number one in organic and you have anything less than a 4.2 star review on Google, that's your problem. So what do? Do you go get a bunch of fake reviews? That's not going to help you. That's going to hurt you in the long run. We talked about that last week. So what is the answer to that, Carter? What's the answer? More marketing?
Well, marketing is just a megaphone, right? So whatever the state of your business is, marketing just holds up a megaphone and makes it even louder. So if you have negative reviews and you're ramping up your marketing to, blast out the news about your company, then you got to be careful that you're not making those negative reviews even louder and extending their reach too. So
that's the thing. People think that when their phones aren't ringing that it's always a marketing issue. That's the very first thing they go to. And I keep telling people, you need to do some really good soul searching and go back into your company, look at those reviews, look at what's going on, see if you can delve if it's something that's not a marketing issue. You need to fix that before you actively market, because exactly what you said, it's a megaphone.
Well, you and I have gone back and forth on this point and maybe we throw it to everybody who's watching, because we have other people, other professionals in marketing who look at our marketing company and wonder why we spend so much time focused on customer service, because they don't see their statement, their view of it is customer service is not marketing, right? So focus on marketing and quit focusing on customer service. That's the customers, that's your client's problem. That's not for you to solve. But you and I have talked about it quite a bit, and we come from the philosophy that until customer service is really taken in hand, no amount of marketing is going to overcome the problems that are happening in customer service. So a really good customer service is really effective marketing, right? So we look at customer service as inextricable from marketing. And so I'm curious if other people listening to this, where do you think marketing or customer service falls? Is it a function of marketing, or is it something that's completely separate and people like us in a marketing company have no business talking about it? I'd be very curious in the comments.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, and we've talked about this before, before marketing became digital, became an automatic thing where you can automatically give your feedback, do those kind of things. You could be a small company in a neighborhood and do something really, really bad and get a really bad reputation in that neighborhood and just go market in a different neighborhood where nobody knows you, because your reputation was shot over here. It's kind of like the old flim flam mans, and that would come through in the Wild West. They would come through a town and they would just take all their money for all the stuff, and everybody was mad about that. And when they got mad, they would just leave in the middle of the night and go to the next town.
Yeah,
because you didn't have the communication that you have today.
We're talking clay tablets, right? But guess what? The tablets today have Wi-Fi.
Yes.
And word gets around fast.
Yes. And this is a very good point, because Renee just put this up. Most of the people who wait for us for months say they do so because of our reviews. What that means is your customer service is actually enhancing your marketing. People are willing to wait for you because they see that you're good. And I've told this to people before. If you're really good and you do your service and treat people right, people are willing to pay a higher dollar for that, and they are willing to wait 100% of the time. I totally believe that. Totally believe that. So thank you so much, Renee. And Kathy Ray, thanks for giving us a thumbs up. We appreciate that. Glad that you're here as well. That's awesome. We love to see all of you. Here's another thing I thought was interesting. 94% say an online reviews convince them to not work with a business, but to avoid a business. 94%. It always amazes me how many people I talk to that are kind of on the fence when it comes to marketing and whether I market or whether I don't, or is reviews important or not. I don't know if you remember, because I think you talked to the guy at a conference, it's probably been 2 years ago, that said something to you in the effect, I don't remember exactly what it was, but I don't worry about reviews because nobody reads them.
I don't remember that, but yeah, that's unreal that someone in today's, maybe 5-6 years ago, you might find people that still would kind of claim that. Today, you take that attitude at your peril. It's not even an option. 94% is a huge number. I mean, most statistical reports like this have a margin of error somewhere between 3 and 4%. Mm-hmm. So let's just say that this is wrong and it's actually more like 97, 98%. Of course, it could be more like 90, 91%, but still, I mean, 90% of your business, you know what you made last year. Look at 90% of that revenue and consider that it just could evaporate because of one negative review that was so perfectly aimed that it prevents so many people from, doing business with you. That's huge.
And this is the value to me of actually answering a review, answering a negative review. When you answer the positive reviews, it just reinforces the kind of people that you are. When you answer a negative review, it tells people that you're not afraid of problems. I don't know anybody that will not, that thinks that everything goes perfect 100% of the time. I just don't know anybody that believes that. So we all know that there are going to be problems. I mean, I'm in the middle of this renovation, and like if I got, if I went crazy every time there was an issue, I'd be in the loony bin right now. So I mean, there's just issues that come up with supply chains, with shipping, with ordering, with employees. I mean, issues happen, and people understand that. What they don't understand is not communicating. So, if you have a bad review, I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. When you answer that review, you're really not answering for that person that left that review. Your answer is for the next person that comes and reads what you have answered. If you do that well, then you're going to be part of that 6% that actually overcomes a negative review. And I think that is highly, highly important. So I thought that was very interesting. Here's another one. 4 out of 5 consumers have actually changed their minds about a recommended purchase after reading a negative online review. So I just have a question. Have any of you guys ever had somebody schedule with you and then turn around in a day or two and go, nope, I'm changing my mind? Because we don't know why they do that. Why did you change your mind? And then I read this and thought, wow, 4 out of 5 consumers have actually had a negative review just cause them to purchase something. And that's a service to product, after that. I just thought that was fascinating. You got anything to add to that?
Well, it is interesting. I mean, I've done it. I'm also thinking of like times when the promise of something is still so great that no matter what negative things you say about it, people still want it. I'm thinking like pharmaceutical commercials, drug commercials about the newest drug for the the strangest condition, and the disclaimers at the end. This may cause this horrible thing and this horrible thing and this horrible thing, and but ask your doctor if this drug is right for you is at the end. And they keep advertising even with those mandated disclaimers at the end, because they know that people they want. So what I'm thinking while you were talking is, like, even though the commercial itself says there's all these horrible things that could happen to you if you take our drug, people don't believe that as much as, like, if they encountered somebody who'd been on the drug and that person said, oh my gosh, it wrecked me, it did this, it did that, it was horrible, don't take that drug. Would that one review mean more than all of the stated, boilerplate in the commercial in terms of somebody's opinion? And as I'm saying it, the answer is pretty obvious. Of course it would.
Sure.
We're going to take the word of one person who's had a negative experience over,
right,
the commercial and the all of the horrible negative things that could happen, because we don't know anybody yet who has taken it and has had those experiences. We're willing to roll the dice. But when we talk to somebody that we know that's had that experience, they're like, whoa, no, I don't want that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, Renee, thank you so much for putting this in. It says they've had this happen to them, but most of them, it's not because they're not satisfied. They got sooner or cheaper. And that does happen. Yeah. And I think that's absolutely part of what happens. But to me, that's not associated with a customer service issue as much as it is they need it now. That's a customer issue that you can't solve. And let's face it, we all have customer issues that we cannot solve for our customers. If we don't have the volume or the what's the word I want, the scope to be able to do the jobs that they need to be done, or we know that if we tried to do it, we would do it and it wouldn't be well. It just wouldn't be a job well done. Then we can't do that. And if they go out and find somebody else that can do that, I think that's just part of what we have to deal with as companies. But on the customer service end, it's just interesting of what we have to kind of pay attention to on that customer service side. 80% of Americans agree that, I love this, that smaller companies place a greater emphasis on customer service than larger companies. I wanted to put this in here because I think that bodes well. I think that bodes well for a lot of our clients and a lot of people in the service industry business. You know, we're in Nashville, Tennessee, and there are 3 HVAC plumbing electrical companies right now that I can name that are huge. They battle it out on TV. They battle it out on social media. You see them all the time. They talk about the same things. They're technicians, their technology, they're this, they're that, and they are huge companies. And yet I go online and there's probably another 150 companies that are thriving in this metro area that are 1-2 truck companies. So just because the big guys are out there doesn't mean that as a smaller company, you don't have advantages. And just knowing right off the bat, you've got an advantage because there is a perception that a smaller company can do a better job with customer service and making people feel good.
So like all the reasons behind that, right, are interesting to me because I mean, I know that if I deal with a small company that I'm only 2 or 3 levels away from the owner of that company if something goes wrong, right? I mean, it's there's not this massive hierarchical chain that spans across a country between where I am and where the corporate office is. And so there's an assumption that the fewer levels of management between me and the guy at the top as a customer, the quicker I can get to a good resolution if there is a problem. And you think about these massive corporations that the owner of the company is not the CEO. So the owner of the company is a group of stockholders that are nameless and faceless and anonymous for all intents and purposes. So how are you going to get resolution if you know you can't where does the buck stop? You know, in a small business, 80% of people know or agree with the idea that the buck's got to stop somewhere, and I want it to stop closer to my house than than a large corporation, because I'm going to get better service if I deal locally.
Yeah, no, I think that's very true. I'd love to get some feedback from some of you guys out there of what you think about that. If you think that being a small company plays in your favor, have you ever felt like maybe a larger service company coming in? Have you ever feared that or had any kind of what is the word, consternation, I guess, of someone coming in and taking over the territory or the area, or people doing that? I hear that every once in a while, that people are a little bit fearful of those kind of things. So it's just to be interesting. It's just interesting to me because I think we sometimes look at the negative part of the challenges that we have, and I think this is a really good positive that we can look at and key on and say, yeah, let's accentuate the fact that we are a smaller company, that we can do resolutions and help you with those kind of issues and those kind of things. I just think that's a really good thing. Yeah, that's great. Well, guys, we're right at 25 minutes. Man, we're doing pretty good. We're trying to keep this on track. Oh, we got a comment on here. Let me see here. Who we have? Terry. Terry says, I always prefer to do business with small family-run companies. Probably because I'm a small business, so I understand more. There you go. Perfect. Thanks so much, Terry. I appreciate you
before we move off of it, let's.
Yeah.
I was thinking the flip side here is that the larger you grow, the more levels of that sort of management and buck passing that starts to creep in. And I know that large companies, in order to stem that, and this is all the way back full circle to what we were talking about in the very beginning, the fact that quote customer service department, or the way of thinking about customer service separately from other things in the business. One of the benefits of doing that is that you can start to think about what would we have to do, what would it look like in our business to change the perception of our customer service. And I don't remember if it's T-Mobile or AT&T or Verizon or one of them, but one of the big complaints was the phone tree, the pass the buck, let me talk to your manager, let me talk to your supervisor. And it never got anywhere because everybody kept saying, I'm not empowered to be able to help you. I'm not empowered to be able to make this decision. And so you just got the runaround. And eventually what they finally decided to do is put the person on the phone in the frontline position who's interfacing with the customer, give them the ability and the power to make certain decisions under a certain dollar amount. So they could just unilaterally decide what is the best thing to do for our company and for this customer, if that solution came under a certain dollar amount. So you're moving the decision making closer to the actual where the decision needs to be made. And that empowered people, and as a result, it turned around their customer service. So think about, as you're growing your business, how do you not let that customer service black hole start opening up in your business and swallowing everything? How do you put the ability to make a customer happy in the hands of the people who are actually interfacing with the customers? That's a great takeaway. I'm thinking about our own business too, and a lot of the small businesses that I've interacted with just in the past 2 or 3 months, of how it could have been a better experience if the people who I was dealing with were empowered to help me create a good experience.
And I think what Matt's saying here, just thinks that you exceed the expectations regardless of size. So I think that falls right in with that. The expectation in a large company is I'm never going to get anything resolved. That's what you kind of go in. I mean, I'm just telling you, if you deal with Facebook or Google, you'll have a lot of frustration with a very large company that you can't reach anybody that can help you with pretty much anything. I mean, it is one of the most frustrating things that we deal with as a marketing company. And I know there's other marketing companies that would tell you the same. But they never exceed an expectation. They never exceed it. So no matter what your size, if you can exceed the expectation of your consumer and your client, let me tell you, that's huge. So thank you, Renee. Thank you so much. I love this. My takeaway, the dollar amount, that's the ceiling.
Yeah, setting a dollar amount so your people know I'm empowered to make a decision to create a happy customer.
Yeah.
If it's within this range.
Yeah. No, I think that's really good. And I've known other companies that have done that, both service companies, and product companies. I think Zappos is one of the ones that I remember back in the day. That was one of the very first ones, they gave everybody had a X amount of dollar amount that they could discount shoes. It was just crazy. So yeah, I think that's great. Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks for that, Carter. Glad you stopped me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just to remind you guys, if you guys want to listen to it again, you certainly can. We can, you can come back to Facebook. You can go to Audible, Spotify, or anywhere that you get your Apple Podcasts. It's Spark Live. That's the name. That's what you'll search for. Next week, we are going to have another fun time and just talk about 4 reasons people stop doing business with your company, or maybe they're not doing business with you. So it's something to really think about. I know that people think, it's really not marketing related, but yeah, it is. It really is. So we're going to talk about how this relates to your marketing, and we'll go from there. And thank you guys so much for showing up every week. we so appreciate all of you. Uh, if you have any suggestions or any questions that you would like us to cover, uh, please send that to me at taylor@sparkmarketer.com.
Or if you prefer, just inscribe it on a clay tablet.
There you go, and send it to us via Oxen.
Yes.
We may get it in 2023. But we're here for you guys, so we want to do that. We hope to have some guests coming on. We're probably going to be mainly Carter and I to the end of this year, but next year we're going to bring some very specific guests, kind of working on some things in that. So we'd really like to have your feedback. You can always message me also through Facebook if that's easier for you. You can text me at 615-243-7590. Let me know a topic that you would like for me to cover, or us to cover, or Carter to cover, for us to get a guest on. So let us know. Like I said, we're here for you guys, and hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. Get some rest, and we'll see you next week.